Am I the asshole for not letting my parents see my daughter after they spanked her? My wife and I live abroad, and this was only the second time my parents had met our 3-year-old daughter. We traveled to Brazil for the holidays so she could spend time with family and experience my home country. Everything was fine until one day my wife and I left to run errands and left our daughter alone with my parents. While we were out, my mom called saying my daughter was being disrespectful because she wanted to watch a different cartoon than the one they picked. I told her to put on a show my daughter likes and said we'd talk to her when we went back. Then my mom said she had already taken care of it. She had spanked my daughter. I was furious. We rushed back immediately. My wife and I do not believe in spanking. I was spanked as a kid, and I know it doesn't work and only hurts children. I had already told my parents this before. When we confronted them, they refused to apologize or admit they were wrong. They said they knew what they were doing because they raised me that way, and I turned out fine. So we packed our things that same day and left early. I told them I would not let them see or speak to my daughter again until they read parenting articles I sent, apologized, and admitted what they did was wrong. It's been 2 weeks. Instead of apologizing, they've been angry and defensive. My sister, her husband, my uncles, and even cousins are calling me, saying I'm unfair, that my parents meant well, and that they rarely get to see their granddaughter. We were supposed to visit them again before flying home, but I canceled. Part of me understands that they don't get to see her often, but I still don't think I'm wrong for protecting my child. Spanking is abuse. If a child is too young to reason with, they won't understand being hit. If they're old enough to reason with, then reason with them. So, am I the asshole?
Parents who are older than you, for instance, in their 50s, 60s, 70s, or grandparents, that's the part of their culture. They spank people, they hit you. Okay, did they hurt you? Not really. Did they teach you a lesson? Sometimes. Did it work? I think it worked a little bit. So I don't think spanking is necessarily a terrible thing. But nowadays, God forbid you should touch your little angel that shouldn't be ever be hit. And I don't really like that idea. I think if your parents spank your child because your child was being disrespectful, she must have been pretty disrespectful. And your parents did raise you and they did a good job on you, but obviously they didn't do a great job because you are the asshole. My mother was a master of weaponry, okay? She did not only did she spank me, she used weapons on me, okay? Belts, whips from that I bought from the circus, threw things at me, hit me with shoes. Did it affect me? I don't know. I mean, I was a big tough kid, so did it work? Did I change my behavior? I don't know. I didn't like it, but didn't hurt. It didn't change my behavior dramatically. But just saying don't do it, I don't know if that's effective either. Do don't do it. Does that work? You're bad. Go in your room. I mean, my mother couldn't lock me in my room, so I don't know. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think this is the modern way things are done. Don't spank. Now, I have a hard time. Look, I don't have any evidence that this kid was abused. Maybe she got a couple belts in the butt. I don't know. These are old school ways. Now, do I think there's justification for it? I don't know what this little girl did either. So I'm not going to take his side because this is his parents. They're the grandchild. Their grandchild. I don't think they tried to hurt her. I think they were just trying to teach her a lesson that she can't be disrespectful to them. And maybe you're raising a brat. How about that? Maybe you're raising a brat. Maybe your little kid who's 3 years old mouthed off to them or did something really bad to them or really made them feel terrible, calling them, get away from me, or used a curse word or broke something or did something intentional. Do we know the facts of this case? You shouldn't isolate your parents. But, I understand you're being overprotective of your daughter. I understand you love her and you don't want to hit her. And I also understand that side. It's a tough call, but I think the parents, I think you're being an asshole. You got to take it easy on your parents. You could just tell them don't do it again and don't leave her alone with them again. It's a tough call. I just think that when you got a parent who's old school from an old world country, older than you, or a grandparent, their upbringing was spanking. So when you want them to change to your modern technique of talking and isolation or whatever you do, they're not going to be able to understand it. Old school ways worked in their generation, and they still believe it works. It's tough. I know it's tough to hit your child. It's tough. Do I believe that hitting children is a good thing? I'm not sure. Do I think that kids deserve it sometimes? You better believe it. And do I think that you have to be careful how hard you hit them and how you discipline them? Yes. And does it traumatize them? I'm sure it does. I do remember when my mother used to lift her arm, I would duck. So, and my mother was an expert. When I would go on the train in New York City, sometimes I would start up with my mother, and my mother would take her fingernails and hold my hand, and then she would drive them right into my palm as hard as she can. And then I would say, "Help, there's a crazy woman! Help, there's a crazy woman! Help, she's a crazy woman!" And people would be looking at me like I was kidnapped. So that didn't help me either, because after that I got the nails in the hand and a good smack or two. But that's okay. You know what, Mom? That wasn't I forgive you 100% for that. I was one of those children. I did not listen to my mother. I did whatever I wanted to. My mother would lock me out of the house sometimes and put up a chain. We had this like chain guardian chain to make sure you couldn't. And then wouldn't open the door because I would come out home too late. And there was no cell phones at that time, so she couldn't check up on me. So I'd be like knocking on the door, and she'd make believe she didn't hear it, and I'd end up sleeping in front of the apartment for a couple hours at least until she decided to open the door. So she had ways on me, but it didn't work. I wasn't very obedient. Obviously, you could tell I'm kind of the rebellious type, and it's tough on parents when they got an independent child that doesn't listen. It's just tough on them because they want the child to do what they want, and people like myself were born to be free. I was wild from the minute I was young, and I wasn't wild in a bad way. I never did anything to hurt anyone, but I was just, you weren't going to make me go home and stay home whenever you felt like it, and that was a problem.